Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and I make videos relating to quilting projects, mainly hand sewing, English paper piecing, and today a little bit of hand quilting. I also do crafts like knitting and crochet, and I do have some very exciting knitting news to share with you all. So today's video will just be sharing with you all the crafty things that I've been up to since the last time I posted a podcast, which unfortunately was around a month ago. I have been quite ill recently, so crafting was limited for about 3 weeks, and obviously getting around to filming was more difficult. But anywhere that you can find me on the web, which I'm a little bit more active on than YouTube just because of time constraints, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. I'll leave the link to both of those in the description box below. So let's get started. First of all, I haven't got any finished objects. If you follow my channel, you'll know that that's a common theme. Another thing that I want to point out, my clock is always the same time because it's broke. It's a long story, but if you've noticed that from my videos, it's always on the same time. It's just broke. So first of all then, let's share the exciting knitting news. Now I have started my first pair of socks and I'm really pleased with how they've been going, so let me show you. Now I have them in this little project bag that I purchased from Etsy. I'll show you the completed one first. So here is the one that I've completed. Don't know how you're supposed to show them if you haven't got a sock blocker. I'll do what Mrs. D does and just put it on my hand for you to see. So these are just a plain vanilla sock pattern. I followed Simply in Stitches tutorial on how to knit them on 9-inch circulars because that's what I wanted to do them on. And it's a heel flap and gusset, I think you would call that. I think that's what it's called. There we go. And the yarn is still attached to my other sock. The yarn is by West Yorkshire Spinners. It's their signature collection and the colourway is in Wood Pigeon. Now, I don't feel like I've used the wool to its full capacity. I've got this, I've just started the heel flap on my second sock. I actually did the heel wrong. It's meant to be that pattern here. Let me focus it. It's meant to be a slip stitch and then you alternate it every 2 rows, but I forgot to alternate it and it's turned into like this rib, which I actually really like. I think I might do that on my ones going forward, because this is the pattern on the heel and I think I prefer this one. It looks like it's pulled in a little bit, but probably when I put my foot in there it'll just pull it out. Now this sock is a tiny bit too small on the length of the foot, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm just going to chalk it down to it being my first sock and just be super proud for what it is. Oh yes, what I was saying is I don't feel like I've used the ball to its full capacity. Now if you knit socks, how many rows do you do on the leg to get the most, to essentially make a 50-gram sock? Yeah, I think this is 38 or 48. I think it might be 48 rows, including 13 rows for the cuff. I think I'm going to start doing 20 rows for the cuff. But I want to know how long can I go on the leg, because I like a good scrunch down sock. I like that. So yeah. Now my mum has also gotten into knitting socks as well, which is so good because she's been buying me balls of yarn while I wasn't very well, just to try and get my knitting mojo back. So I've got quite a few balls ready to go. Just while we're on the subject of socks, I'll skip forward to something that I've purchased. It arrived today and it's from Lay Family Yarn. Now I was good and I only purchased some tiny minis that they have. because before I started actually knitting socks, I wanted to knit socks for a long time, and I'd bought some balls of yarn and I didn't realise you needed a touch more than 50 grams. So I had bought this ball of yarn from Hobie. I think it might have been with like the points that you get on the website, and it's 50 grams, and I think I could make a pair of shorties, but I want something a bit longer. So I purchased this to go with it. Now I thought I'd bought 20 grams, but I've only bought 10 grams. So I'll have that as the cuff and the toe, I think. So that goes nicely. And again, the same, this yarn was from Hobie, and it's got a pattern, a self-striping pattern like that. Doesn't seem to be able to focus, so I'm sorry about that. And I purchased that because it's got a touch of blue in it. It's a darker blue, but I thought that's a really nice pop. Again, for the, when I thought I had 20 grams, I wanted to do the cuff, heel and toe, but I think I should get away with the cuff and the toe. Let me know if I'm wrong, because it's all a little bit of experiment, isn't it, when you first get into knitting socks. No, my mum, hers is amazing. This again is from Lay Family Yarn, and I think this is called the Daffodil Pack. And look at those colours. There's 10 gram minis. I'll pull out this peachy colour. She had it delivered to mine because I wanted to order those small balls, and I said, oh, do you want to order anything? So I think I encouraged her to spend much more than I spent. So I'm going to drop those to her this evening. Well, we'll come back to acquisitions, purchases at the end, because there's one other thing. Now I have been working a little bit here and there on my 1/2 inch hexi quilt that's probably the size of a cushion cover at the moment. I've just been basting shapes. This is just the new block that I've started on. The larger block I've just left it upstairs because it's so much easier if I can just store this in here. So let me angle this down. This is just my storage box where I keep all of my basted shapes, and I try and keep it sort of in groups of colours. So I've just been working here and there, and this is what I've come up with. And again, if you've watched my channel for a while, you will know that I love starting new projects. Who doesn't? It's just such a buzz to start a new project. So this is something that I purchased. It was a pattern that I purchased from the Festival of Quilts last year. And I did this exact same thing last year, where I thought, I'm going to the Festival of Quilts in, let's say, a month. I need to start something from what I bought last year. Last year I started a quilt and I only finished it a couple of months ago. And this time I've got a vague idea of a quilt in my mind that I want to do with it. So this is a hand piece quilt by Susan Smith, and it's called the Cracker Box, and it makes that sort of pattern. And in the kit pattern, it just comes with these 2 acrylic pieces, and you use that to sew from. So I've got just a fruit bonnet because I like to have little containers that I've reused, just with some that I've made. My neighbour's vacuuming outside. She must be vacuuming her car mats or something, because I can't... Oh, she is. She's vacuuming the car mats. Right, so these are the little blocks that I've made up so far. And I think I'm going to do like have some squares forming this pattern all around, and then I'm going to have some squares of applique pictures that I'm going to do. I've never done sort of in-depth applique like that to do pictures, but I'll give it a go. I did initially think I was going to lay them out like this, but I'm not. I'm going to lay them out like that. So not like that, so they all point towards the centre. So I'm going to unstitch those two. And all I've been doing is just preparing little pieces. You can see how tiny the pieces are. I've just been preparing little bundles when I get the chance out of pinks. And then when I've got 10-15 minutes, I think it takes probably about half an hour to piece the whole thing. I am a bit slow though, so it might be a little bit faster if you're proficient. This is the first hand piecing thing that I've done that hasn't got like papers in, so I'm quite pleased with how it's turned out. Yes, so I'm going to do pinks just from my scraps, and then I've got this that's got kind of like berries on them really softly in the background. Let me show you. This is the print. I thought I had more of this left. I thought I had about half a metre left, which is why I've picked it to start with, but I haven't. I think I know where I've got it from, so I'm going to go back to the shop and see if they've got more. If not, in the spirit of doing scraps, I have also got this, which it's got like a dot print on it, so that's the other one. I think they do go together. It'll probably end up being this predominantly. And here's my big pile of pinks. I'll probably be able to pull some more. I did initially try and go for more dusty pinks, but I might just go for all pinks. And what I've been doing is setting up these boxes. I think this is slightly bigger than A4, and I just keep everything in here. I've got one for the scrap 1/2 X's as well, and I actually just keep them next to my armchair because that looks a lot neater than the mess that was all over the dining table. My partner doesn't mind, I'm very lucky. So next we'll move on to my hand quilting project. Now I've just started this. It's kind of a sentimental project, so I'll give you the backstory to it. So me and my sister went on holiday to Berlin in, I think it was May, the beginning of May, and they have so many craft shops there. I couldn't believe it. Yarn, I think I did a video on what I purchased. They had yarn shops, loads of fabric shops. So we wanted to make a quilt together. We knew we wouldn't do the same pattern because we just like different styles. So she bought fabric to do a machine pieced quilt, and we said we'd sit down and start together. I actually decided to make a double gauze hand quilted quilt. Same fabric front and back, so like a whole cloth type of concept. So we started that on Sunday just gone. It's Friday today, and I'll show you how far I've got. I've done 2 lines of quilting, 2 repeats. So this is the colour of the double gauze. Oh, I think I was on the microphone then, so I do apologise. So that's the double gauze. It's beautiful, it's thick, and it's so nice. So I've decided to do a Baptist fan. Might not be able to show you very well. So what I'll do is, I think I'll put some video over the top of this so you can see. So what I decided to do, let me just put this down. What I did when I was there, I knew this was what I wanted to make, and I bought different coloured embroidery threads, and I'm doing each repeat of the Baptist fan in a different colour of the embroidery threads. There's 4 in total, so it'll go from light it'll go from dark to light, then to dark, then to light, so it'll be like a repeat. I've done 2 rows. It takes me about 2 evenings to do 1 repeat across if I'm able to dedicate a good 3 hours to it. So maybe it takes 6 or 7 hours to get all the way across the row. The only issue that I found is because the double gauze is quite an open weave, and it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful, and I can't wait. It's already crinkly, as you can see from the videos, just because of the nature of the fabric. I can't wait until it's quilted up and it's on the bed. It's going to be very snuggly. But I've had an issue with the knots. The knots for the thread, you can bury the knot very easily, but it comes out. the knots are just coming out. They're still knotted, but then they're popping to the surface and you've got a tail of thread on the surface. So that happened all on the first row. And then when I started messing about lining it up again, sorry, I had to sneeze then. So just when I started messing about and handling it more to mark on the lines for the second row of the Baptist fans, there was all coming out, the threads was, so I was just like, oh my god. So I had to unpull some of them and rebury them. And what I've decided to actually do for the following colours, sorry, I had to sneeze again then. So what I've decided to do for the following colours is when I get to the end of the thread is actually join as if I was joining yarn with like a magic knot, and then I'm burying that knot and then I'm just carrying on. Because it's all connected, there is no end to pop out. I can then snip the join together quite closely and just continue. If anyone plans to make a double gauze quilt, I will show you how I'm doing the knot. What I intend to do is do like a pros and cons, because I'm in a hand quilting group on Facebook. Oh, my dog wants to come up. I'm in a hand quilting group on Facebook, and a lot of people on there said that the double gauze wasn't suitable for quilting. Daphne, come on. Here she is. She is in her pyjamas. It's a little lick suit. Yeah, she's got some sores on her stomach and she just licks herself raw. So we've put this, it's like just got holes in for her legs and she can still use the bathroom, but it stops her licking her stomach and she sulks. Told you. What are you doing? You're sulking. I'll insert a funny video of me knitting earlier. I was knitting on my socks and she likes to lie on my chest, and also why it's so hard to get any grafting time because she actually sits on me and I can't continue. Just going back to what I was saying, sorry, a lot of people on this Facebook group that I'm in said that double gauze wasn't suitable for quilts and more traditional quilting cottons should be used. But from what I've researched online, it's quite a common thing, especially for baby quilts because they're so soft. And so anyway, we'll just move on from that subject. So yeah, I'm really enjoying just sitting down and hand quilting. It does hurt my wrists a little bit, but I think I'll get used to it the more I get into the rhythm of doing it. Now, I just remembered at the beginning of the podcast, I told a white lie and I have got a finished object. I made a peg bag. Now, we was just having our peg bags in a sandwich bag and the sandwich bag was just deteriorating. So I definitely needed a peg bag. Now I used like a foam wadding for the inside of this, and I just used scraps that I'd purchased from Sew and Quilt. They do a scrap bag of really lovely fabrics, and that's the back. This was a fat quarter from Hobbycraft, I think, and the lining is just generic lining from a fat quarter, as you can see, because I can't get that crease out. And it is just so lovely. This has been something that I've wanted to make for quite a while, and I've been waiting until I can get my hands on a kids hanger, and I haven't been able to. I don't have kids, so what I did is I took an adult hanger and I just cut it down just until it was the size that I thought would be good, and I followed a tutorial on YouTube. It wasn't for a quilted one. This is quilt as you go on the front, and then I just did regular quilting on the back. So I just did that before I added the lining and followed her pattern as if it wasn't quilted. And her pattern, I think you had to pay to print it off, so I just drew it from what hers looked like on the video. So I've had lots of enjoyment out of that. We'll move on to purchases. Now I am going to the Festival of Quilts next week. I'm so lucky and I'm going 2 days. I'm going with my sister. That was the initial plan. We're going on the Friday with my sister, but I'm also going on the Thursday with a press ticket, which I'm so grateful for. And I'm going to film a tour and showing you around, showing you all the stalls, the quilts, and that should be up on Thursday night. Fingers crossed. And then on Friday I'm going to go for all the fun of purchases with my sister. I've told her it's her first time going and I've said I'm not going to make any purchases on the Thursday. I don't know if I can keep that promise. I hope I can, but I just don't know. No, I will be keeping that promise. And so I'll film the video of showing you around, and also maybe the week after I'll film a video of what I actually purchased. So I'm super excited for that. So if you haven't already, do make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and also on my Instagram and TikTok, because I might be filming a little bit of when I go with my sister. So on the Thursday I'll be filming for more like showing you guys, and then on the Friday I'll show you little bits of fun that we get up to. So because of that I told myself, well, I don't need to purchase anything until Susie Stitcher, she shown what she purchased from Rose Garden Fabrics, and I loved it, and I had to go on there and I just had to buy something being like 3 bundles of fabric. So I'll show you what I've purchased. She is such a sweet lady, the lady who runs and owns this shop. She included this little freebie. I think that's a needle threader, and then just some little gems. I'm not going to try and focus on them because I don't think I can get that to work. Oh. This is, again, it's not going to focus, and it's flipped over. It's a little Cinderella charm for your zip. And this was also a little freebie that she put in. And I bought these by the 1/4 meter, I think, or a fat quarter. So some beautiful fabrics. I thought those would be great for fussy cutting out and appliquing. So this is probably going to be the start of a new quilt, and I'll have to purchase more stuff. I love those little kitties. And this is a similar one with lots of cute cartoony pictures. Lots of repeats on there. I think you get 2 repeats of them. Sorry about the crinkling. Now I bought a pack of the pink scraps. I won't get them all out and show you individually, but they're beautiful. And then she also had... Oh, let me just show you this cat. If you like cats, isn't that just the cutest thing ever? I love that. And then she does a rainbow bundle, and they're all just gorgeous. Look at that. So many gorgeous opportunities for fussy cutting. You've got pinks. Show you another nice one. So if you're into these Japanese style fabrics, then definitely go out over and check out Rose Garden Patchwork. Very good. I did share them on my Instagram, but I only shared them as a story, so the story disappears after 24 hours, so that's unfortunately gone now. But what I'm thinking I'm going to do with that is do a hand-pieced postage stamp quilt with some of the bits that have got smaller squares, and then doing a little bit of applique and fussy cutting, and maybe just appliquing over the top of what I've sewn. I'll see how it goes. I've got too many projects that I want to start and too many projects on the go. Anyway, so I think that is everything that I've been making, that I've started and that I've purchased. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, don't forget to stay tuned to the channel for the videos for the Festival of Quilts next week. Bye!